Good morning. It's been about 3 weeks since I planted my seedlings, and this video is part 2. I'll link part 1 below. I have moved my seedlings outside because after planting them, I watched a lot of YouTube videos on starting seeds indoors, and what I have learned is that my seedlings don't look good at all. And they're leggy and stretched out and pretty much not looking healthy at all. I'm still new, so I don't know how unhealthy they actually look, but I get the idea that these zinnias here are not supposed to be really long and leggy and pale, and like that one probably just isn't going to make it. And so I'm trying to ask myself, what am I going to do? Am I going to try to save them? Or do I want to just plant some new ones? So I think what I'm going to do, I've moved them outside because I can't plant them outside yet, not for probably another couple more weeks. That we still have the danger of frost. So these are my sunflowers. I suspect they're not supposed to be droopy like that. And they're clearly already outgrowing their little pods. If you can see, the roots are just really starting to poke through at the bottom there. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to try two things. So one, I'm going to go back. Most of these I have seeds, extra seeds for. So I think I'm going to go back and just stick a couple of seeds in the pods next to the ones that are growing and do sort of a comparison. And that's more just strictly for learning, because I want to see if I leave these outside and start some more seeds, only bring them in at night or on cold days. I want to compare them side by side to see what the seedlings should look like, because that is how you learn. And I'm going to do that, and if that doesn't work, worst comes to worst, I'm just going to directly sow my seeds in my garden when I can, and probably not do anything with these. Now, the only disappointment I have are my pink lemonade zinnias here, because I planted my whole packet of seeds here. So I don't have any more seeds of these left. So I'm going to try to do my best to save these, and I'm hoping that by moving them outside and giving them outdoor time as much as possible, maybe some fertilizer, that I could potentially save them. And I need to do some research, because I think there are some flowers that when you plant them, you can stick them deeper into the ground. And if I can, that will give them some more stability. So that's my plan. Just thought I would give an update and show you that things aren't quite going as well as I had hoped. Now, a lot of these that are just getting started, they haven't had a chance to get too far gone, so maybe I'm still good with those. But we'll see. All right, I'll keep you posted. I should say the date today is May 2nd, so I think I started these seeds on April 18th, if I'm not mistaken. And our last frost date here is about the 13th of May, so I can't plant them directly outside just yet. But I'm going to expose them to the elements, get them some breezy air, some sun, indirect sunlight, maybe even some direct sunlight for a short time in the day. All right, right after that last clip, I went ahead and replanted a couple more seeds in each one of these pods, except for the ones I don't have. And also except for the ones that look like they were still small enough. But I think I did most of them. I didn't replant sunflowers because I ordered some bigger pots, some bigger peat pots, and I think I'm going to sow right from the get-go, I'm going to put the seeds in a bigger pot. So we're going to see how this experiment goes. Now, it's a bit of a cloudy, colder, chilly day today, and it's starting to rain, but I have these sheltered on my deck. And I'm really going to try to just leave them outside as much as possible, bringing them in at night. And I've pretty much decided that the ones that are already growing are doomed anyway, so it's just going to be a complete experiment as to what happens to those. But it'll be fun to see when the new ones come up and they have actually proper sunlight and proper outside air, how different they look. So, all right, stay tuned. I'll probably check in as soon as they start to emerge. Maybe I'll wait a little bit longer and give them a little substantial growth before I compare, and then we'll see where this goes. Oh, I also wanted to say that this Super Thrive Plant Vitamins fertilizer came with these Jiffy Greenhouses, and I hadn't used them or hadn't intended on using them, and since I had 2 packs, I went ahead and mixed up a gallon of this. And so this first time that I watered them well, the seedlings, right? The seeds that I just planted will have had this fertilizer, because since there was already growth in these little peat pots here, you know, they're probably a little bit nutritionally depleted now. So I thought it wouldn't hurt to give them a little super thrive and get them started off on the right foot. So we'll see. Okay, stay tuned. All right, it's May 7th, so it's been a few days since I moved these outside, and I think everything, for the most part, perked up a bit. And it all looks like, so these are the zinnias here, and so the ones that I had going that were long and leggy are looking a little bit better. Oops, what happened here? Looks like we've lost someone here. Alright, so, alright, not too bad, because I see a lot of new growth starting. If you look real close, most of these, the new seeds are popping up. Yep. So getting some new ones there. Yep, back there. Almost, yeah, most of these are going to have new ones in it, so it'll be nice to see how those fare compared to these that were started under the grow lights and got long and skinny, and compared to the ones that are pretty much been left outside all day with bringing them in at night. Now, the first day that I moved them outside, so here's the sunflowers. They're still wanting to lay on their side with a few perky ones there. So a couple of them, I think the smaller ones, the ones that weren't as long, kind of recovered a bit. What do we got here with the Snapdragons? None of the new stuff's germinating yet. But yeah, but very little new germination on these. I see a couple here and there on all these other things. So yeah, definitely a difference in germination time when I had them covered and under the grow lights, and they pretty much germinated within like a day or two. But leaving them outside, and it was much cooler and rainy for the first couple of days, and then today's actually been the first really warm, sunny day, so I had them out getting a lot of full sun today. And you know, we'll see how they do. So the sunflowers, I did get the peat pots that I ordered, the larger ones, and I'm going to go ahead and plant those this weekend, some new seeds. I went ahead and got my second 3-tiered garden shelf built, and I'm hoping to get the soil put in that this weekend. And I don't know, we'll see how the weather is. Maybe I'll even start doing some planting in it, maybe on Mother's Day this weekend. We'll see. We'll have to watch the weather, but okay. Everything's progressing nicely. All right, one more time I wanted to come in here and just do a quick update. It's May 9th, Mother's Day, so here in Colorado, it's technically safe to plant things outside now. I went ahead and left these outside again for another night, so 2 straight nights out. I think they're successfully hardened off now, because it doesn't seem like I lost any of them, even though it got pretty cold last night. It got down to about 38, so not freezing, but definitely cold. And upon looking at things now, I did notice a couple of these leggy ones just really aren't doing well at all. So initially my intention was to save the leggy ones and compare them to the new ones and see how they do in the long haul, but I don't know. Now that these new ones are coming in and everything's looking so much healthier, I'm starting to think that these long ones are just sort of taking nutrients away from those other little ones. So I may go in and change my plan and just take these all the original leggy seedlings and take them out and just let the new ones have time to thrive. Somehow along the line I stopped calling them raspberry lemonade zinnias, and I started calling them pink lemonade. So just for the record, they are little raspberry lemonade zinnias, and since these are the only ones I have, I used the whole box of seeds here. I am going to keep these, leggy and all, but I'm going to go back and remove all of my leggy zinnias and let the new ones thrive. Okay, and it's really cold out here, so I'm going to go back inside, and my plan was to do some transplanting today, but now I'm going to wait because it's supposed to be cold for the next 3 or 4 days, so I'm going to let this cold front move on through, and then I'm going to do some planting. So stay tuned. All right, it's Monday, May 17th, and we've been having unseasonably cool temperatures, but I decided to take a break and go ahead and plant some of my seedlings in their raised bed. So on this first one, we've got strawflower. Down here on the second shelf, we've got cosmos. I decided only to do 3 in these lower ones. I just don't have any idea how big these are going to get. And then we've got the calendulas down there. Some of these are the new seedlings, and I haven't thinned them yet. I'm going to let them grow a little bit. Then down here we've got 3 gomphrenias. Then we've got our bachelor buttons right here. And on top, I split this one. I did a couple of the Queen Anne's lace, I think that's called. And then I've got Snapdragons right there. And we'll see. I had a few extra zinnias, so I went ahead and planted them in a pot down here. Oh, because I did the rest of the zinnias in front. We'll take a walk out front, and then that's my cutting of my off my lilac bush I took last year, and it survived the winter. So good. Ooh, and it seems like we've got a storm coming in right there. So, well, let's hope these do well, and let's hope there's no hail. They're probably too small now to worry about hail, but still. All right, let's go to the front. All right, in one of the front beds here, this is an echinacea that I went ahead and just left there. And then I need to water these, but you can kind of see my little seedlings there. I put some of the raspberry lemonade zinnias in the front, and I had a little extra from all the other ones, so that's a calendula. I'm more saying this just to remind myself. Right in the center here, we've got, I did a little circle of just like straw flowers and snapdragons and just some leftovers from there, and then around the edges are the zinnias. And then I just tried to duplicate that same thing over on this bed, and this thing in the middle here I think is a leftover Augustachi, but I don't know. I didn't take it out yet because I want to see what happens to it, but same thing. And this bed here is the one that I'm turning into sort of a shade garden, and so I've got a couple echinaceas that came back. This I just planted today. It's a white astilbe, and I got 3 little pincushion plants there. Can't remember their scientific name. Still some more echinaceas. And this right here is a Veronica that keeps coming back, and a stone crop little succulent that I left there. I went ahead and threw one of my sunflowers there just to see how it does. I don't think it's going to get enough sun, but we'll see. And this is a rose garden that I thought I dug out, but it wanted to come back, so I haven't decided what I'm going to do with it. It started out as a Joseph's coat rose, but I think I cut it back too far, and then the year after it had like some red roses on it. And then I tried to get rid of it, and it wanted to come back. But I'm not really a rose gardener, so I don't know. I didn't do well with it, so we'll see. And then I'm just going to, haven't decided. Somewhere around here I'm going to put some impatiens, and I'm just going to find a couple of shade perennials to stick in this space too. Haven't decided what yet, but we'll see. Watch this space. I'll give an update. So yesterday, when I was showing those ominous clouds coming in, and I thought, well, they're probably going to be harmless because we've had clouds like that every day. Well, we had like 30 minutes of a very heavy downpour. And I am now coming out here the next day to assess if there was any damage. Now, when I peeked at these, they looked okay because there was a lot of the soil underneath was still kind of dry because it was a new bag of potting soil. So these, for the most part, look like they held up pretty well. But I'm going to go into the front because when I did peek out the window during the downpour, I saw that my front beds were getting flooded. So I fear that I lost most, if not all, of my seedlings out there. So we'll see. Let's cross our fingers. I have not looked at them yet, but I'm going to go do that right now, and I'm going to take you with me. So these are the 2 beds that were like literally flooded yesterday. Oh, wow. I'm actually surprised. My seedlings are still upright. Look at that. Man, I'm literally, these were like all, there was like puddles out here when I looked. Oh, and they all look like they survived. Yay! Oh, I'm so excited. Okay, this was the worst bed. This one didn't look like it was as flooded. But yeah, it looks like everything's doing well. Okay, oh, I'm excited and relieved. And then over here, this didn't look like it was getting much flooded, but so yeah, this looks pretty good too. Okay, good news, good news. Okay, well, all right, I'll keep you posted on how these do. I was prepared to have to just do some direct sowing today, but everything is well. All right, I forgot that I needed to check on my sunflowers over here. I don't have a lot of hopes for them. I planted them here, but this area is just so rocky. So we've got the one right there, and then I planted one there, that one's flopped over, and then one more right there. So we'll see. As rocky as it is down here, everything seems to naturally want to grow down here, and everything does pretty well. So I thought I would just throw those seedlings, those really spindly ones, so they already kind of aren't off to a great start, but I thought, well, I'll give them a try here. There's my lilac bush looking a little worse for the wear after the rain, but all right. Oh, it smells so good though. This is the one that I took the cutting off of, and you saw in that other pot. It smells so good. All right. Yeah, I planted this a couple years ago. Same thing, just kind of left it. I took the bottom off the pot and then stuck it down in there and just hoped for the best, that it would find it, that the roots would find its way through all the big heavy rocks that are below that. And it seems to be doing pretty well. So this is going on year 3, and it's gotten quite a bit bigger. Well, I bought some more seeds. I'm trying to build my shade garden out front, and I was going to buy some impatiens, but I thought I'd grow some, start some from seeds. So I bought some impatiens called Candy Box. I bought Shasta Daisy. Now these probably don't do well in shade, but they're perennials, and I really want to get a lot of perennials going in that. So I'm going to see. I don't know how much sun or shade that area actually gets, so this is kind of an experiment. I'm going to grow some Shasta Daisies and see how they do. Got those seeds started. Then I got some Rebecca. Once again, not necessarily a shade plant, but they are a perennial, and I think I might have enough sun in that area to grow some of these. So we got some of those, and then I got some what's called, let's see, Joseph's Coat Amaranth. I have no idea how to grow this, but it looks like apparently it does well in shade. So I'm starting some of those from seed. And then last, I got some forget-me-nots. This is actually a forget-me-not mix. I think there's 2 different types of forget-me-nots in here, a spring and a summer bloomer. So I had forget-me-nots in my front garden a couple years ago, and they sort of took over, and I decided I didn't want them anymore. So I worked really hard at getting rid of all of them, and now I want them again. So all of those volunteer seeds that I had keep growing back every year that I kept pulling out, now I wish I had them again, so I bought some more seeds, and I've started those too. Not sure where I'm going to put these. I'll maybe put some in the sun and some in the shade and see how they do. But that's it. Let me just show you the seeds. All right, I started these on, what does my note say there? May 19th. And I'm putting these under the lights only until they poke through, and then I'm going to move them outside, because that whole hardening off business is kind of tricky. So I'm just going to put these outside just as soon as they start to germinate, which I think I see some coming up. So, all right, so yep, I've got all of them there, started and ready to go. Okay, I don't think I'm going to update for a while until I have something significant to show with all my plants, because right now they're all just being little seedlings and growing very slowly. So I'll check in, I don't know, maybe in about a month. We'll see. All right, that's it for now. All right, it's Memorial Day weekend here in the States, and I just wanted to show you what my plants are looking like now, since I've transplanted them. So they've been transplanted now since about the 19th, so a couple of weeks. You can just barely see some of them. These are the Gomphrenias here. So this whole one is Gomphrena except for these two. So I think those are raspberry lemonade zinnias, because I had not all of them fit in the front, so I kind of was sticking them here. Truthfully, I've kind of forgot what everything is. Okay, so these are some bachelor buttons right here, but I went ahead and transplanted the daisies here, and you can see they're just very tiny. A couple of them just poking through right there. And then upstairs, I've got the Queen Anne's lace, 3 of those. These are all of the Snapdragons. These are some extra mammoth sunflowers that I still haven't found where I'm going to put those yet. I think I'm going to give them to a neighbor. And then these are all the straw flowers. Cosmos. A couple extra zinnias that I needed to make room for, I think. And then down here we've got the calendulas. So, all right, we'll see how they do. All right, and in the front yard here, these are how all the little zinnias are doing. And another that's a calendula. Truthfully, I just put a mishmash of stuff out here. I don't even remember what everything is. We'll just have to see when it grows, but it all looks pretty good. And then we've got this over here. Everything's looking pretty tiny still. And then the shade perennial garden, I've got my astilbe that looks good. And then I've planted just I think those are the amaranths. And then in front, these are the, what are those? I can't remember the ones I bought at the nursery. There's 3 of those. And then in between those, sorry about the really loud magpie. He's trying to chase the cat away. In between here, you can see that I've got, these are going to be impatiens. But they're so tiny, they're barely poking through. You can kind of see right there. That one's looking pretty good. So, yep. And then I did a basket full of impatiens right over here too. And we'll see how it turns out. Plus anything else that comes up left over from last year that I don't remember is in here. Keep forgetting to give an update on my sunflowers. So I never mentioned that I planted these in the back of my yard. So I just had this bare spot here, and I thought it'd look nice to have the sunflowers there. So they've gotten bigger now. I saw online that you can put like toilet paper rolls kind of at the base of these to help hold them steady. So that's what I did. Looks kind of weird, but yes. I just don't know how these are going to do, but they are growing, so that's a good thing. And while we're at it, even my lilac looks pretty good from that last clip too. Did some new growing. All right, we'll do one more look at my seedlings before I get this uploaded. Okay, and I should probably mention that it's June 4th. Everything is getting a little bit bigger. So I also failed to mention that originally I had these kind of spread apart more, and then I scrunched them together. Now these are the Snapdragons, and if you look, there's more than one in each here because I never thinned them out. So I'm going to have to thin them out. I clearly have one. I feel like this is the original one that was kind of spindly, and then I planted more seeds. So I don't know what I'm going to do with those right now, but Snapdragons have definitely gotten bigger. These are the bachelor buttons, have gotten quite a bit bigger. These are my little daisies, Shasta Daisies. And then, yes, I believe these were the raspberry lemonade zinnias. This one is looking very poorly. But that one's looking good. Gomphrina's getting bigger. And then this is the calendulas. Cosmos. Truthfully, I forgot what those are. They kind of look like raspberry lemonade. And then we've got straw flowers. Sunflowers. A sad looking sunflower. Alright, over in the front flower bed, things are getting bigger, but not real quickly. They're still pretty little. My echinacea is coming back really nicely. And it looks like my calendula is doing good. Everything else is staying kind of, zinnias are staying kind of small. Got my, truthfully, I don't even remember what I planted around here. There's just a mishmash of things. I've really lost track. I've lost track of what I have growing where. Looks like a robin has found a nice fat worm. Okay, back to the garden. This thing, I can't figure out what it is. And when I ask my plant app what it is, it tells me it's some kind of bush or something. I don't know. I think it's a stray seed from when I bought seeds at the Dollar Tree. Some zinnia seeds. I had some strange things growing, so I think I'm going to remove that thing because I just don't know what it is and I don't know how big it's going to get. Alright. So, still not a whole lot to see here. This is my impatiens, growing very slowly. Yeah, all my little seedlings are just really taking their... Truthfully, I don't even know what half this stuff is anymore. I think I decided that these were the amaranths, these three. And I think I've got my rudbeckias here, but they never sprouted. And then I've got a bloom on my pincushion flower and a whole bunch of buds. So it's doing well. Alright, well I think I'm going to upload this now, so it's June 4th, and then we'll see. Maybe I'll check in at the end of June and let you see how everything's looking. Hopefully I'll have something more to show besides these tiny little plants. Alright, thanks for watching. See you at the end of June or July.